Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. This is explanation video and submission guide of assignment 3, task construction and item analysis for the course of assessment literacy and performance competencies, EDU 485. All right, so we have gone through the basic descriptions of the assignment, but just very briefly, the assignment is 30%. It is collaborative in nature, of not more than 4 people in a group, if possible. And you are required to develop a formative assessment, a monthly test of not more than 1 hour based on a subject area that you are currently studying. And the test should be for one form in secondary school. All right, that's a long sentence. Okay, now that we have gotten that behind us, let's proceed with the rest of the things that you have to do for the assignment. So the assignment consists of several phases. The first phase is task planning. And in task planning, you have to produce one planning document, and it's called Table of Specifications or TOS. All right. So I have uploaded a sample of TOS for biology on my MOOC page for you to have a look. So this is what that has been uploaded on MOOC. Okay. So do look at the manner in which the skills and sub-skills or the learning standards are phrased here and the level of specificity for a 1 hour test. Okay, this is very important. You cannot afford to be covering too many main topics. The most main topics that you can go with a 1 hour test is about 2 to 4 topics. All right, and then you have to break the topic down into subtopics as specific as possible. Now, I did receive a number of questions from students asking me, do we have to develop items that address all the levels on Bloom's? Come on, guys, of course. Okay, I thought I've said that too many times already. But how many items should we develop for lots and how many items should we develop for HOTS? I have mentioned that as well. Based on Bloom's taxonomy, please look at this triangular shape. The proportion of the items that should be in your test should be represented by this shape. All right, which means that 70 to 80% of your test items should be items from lower order thinking skills. And within that lower order thinking skills, a majority of your items should be from the level of understanding. Despite the fact that Bloom's taxonomy has, remember, as its wider shape, remember I've also mentioned this in class, that our curriculum objectives have changed over the years. Now that the basic focus of any curriculum in the world is on students' understanding. Hence, when we assess, when we do our tests, the most number of questions should be from understanding level. Okay, so about 20 to 30% of your questions should be from higher order thinking skills questions. Now, we have just covered Bloom's taxonomy HOTS for item creation. I did mention that for create, it is okay if you don't have any items in your test that addresses create, because not all content can be developed to assess item that looks at create level. But nevertheless, all of your items should be coming from all of these levels except create. If you do have create questions, that's awesome. But if you don't have that, it's fine. Okay. Having said that, the kind of items that you should have in your task or the type of items that your test address based on this level should also depend on the nature of your subject. If you are developing mathematics tests, then you might skip some level. For example, you may have very, very few remember items, but you don't have any understanding items at all, but you may have like an abundance of apply item, which is fine because such is the nature of your subject. Similarly with language, or even for aspects or components of language such as literature or grammar, you may not have remember and understanding items at all, but most of your items will be focusing from apply onwards. So for certain subjects, there are exceptions, but for most courses, you need to develop all items at all level, with understanding being the most number of items in your test. But if you don't have create, it's fine. Okay, so you may refer to the sample of these thoughts on MOOC to see how the phrases and whatnot, as well as the format of toast, and also the fact that you need to add up all the totals at the bottom. Okay, so I'm gonna move back to our assignment sheet and continue after test planning. Okay, so with regard to our report, when you submit your report, this would be the guideline or the structure of the report from 1.0 until 8.0. Okay, first we begin with 1.0, and that is introduction. Please be reminded that this assignment does not have a lot of penggorengan. Okay, there's not much area for you to narrate or produce an essay or write in such a lengthy manner. All I'm interested in with regard to marking this assignment are the documents that you have produced in light of this assignment. To me, that's the most important. Okay, so kesimpulannya tidak banyak penceritaan yang akan berlaku. It's more about attaching the right documents in the right section of the report. Alright, so 1.0 is the introduction, and you should have about 1 to 2 paragraphs only for introduction. 1 paragraph is also fine. So this paragraph should consist of, okay, please introduce the subject that you are doing for your test. What component are you focusing? If you are a language student, or for example, TESOL, or English for Professional Communications, EPB students, then with language, English, for example, you have to specify what components are you focusing on with your test. There are 6 language learning components, which are reading, writing, listening, speaking, literature, grammar. So please specify which component does your test focus on. Okay, so on top of that, after you have mentioned the form, the subject, how long is your test, what main topics your test are covering, and that would be the information that I'm interested to look at. Anyhow, the information is listed here in the assignment sheet. Okay, so that's it. That's what introduction is about. I did receive questions asking, can we write in point form? No, please get real. You won't be producing report in point form when you work later. It has got to be in paragraph format, but it should be simple, concise, short, but informative with all of this information. Okay, so that's it for 1.0. Let's move on to 2.0. For 2.0, what you need to do is just type in your report 2.0. Okay, and then please attach a copy of your toast. Okay, you will be asked to attach a copy of your task as appendix at the end of the report, but you also need to produce a copy of that task here under 2.0. And then that's it. That's what 2.0 is all about. You don't even have to introduce, this is a task that our group has developed. No, I will be reading it. Okay, because marks will be given only on task. Okay, and then 3.0, similar to 2.0, please type 3.0, okay? And then attach a copy of your test in the actual form, in the original form that you have prepared your test paper. And then after the original copy of your test, please attach a screenshot of your test in Google Form format. Okay, so this Google Form format should also consist all of your items, but they won't be presented in a manner that's similar to the original copy. So the original copy, I'm assuming that you might be preparing your test via Microsoft Word document, and then you might convert it into PDF and then attach it under 3.0. But Google Form format, you might want to print screen and attach all of these items that you have compiled nicely. Okay. And then after you have attached the Google Form copy of your test, the third document under 3.0 is your answer scheme. All right. And then after your answer scheme, then we have four. These four, not this one. This Roman 4. Please label this section as item arrangement and levels on Bloom's taxonomy. And please have this table under this particular section, which has number. This should be a very small column. Item and answer, the score, and level on Bloom's taxonomy. So what you have to do with this table is, let me just make it a bit bigger. All right. You have to copy and paste all of your items onto this table. Start with the first item in the first section until the final item in your final section. So this will consume pages and pages of your report, but it's fine. All right. So number is just the numbering of your item. So for example, section A, item 1. Okay. And then copy paste your item here. If it's multiple choice question, then you have to copy paste the entire item. If your MCQ has pictures, for example, or diagram, so that should also copy and paste it together. Okay, because even this picture is part of an item. Without this picture, your item is not complete. So copy and paste the entire item. And then underneath the item, please indicate the answer. Okay. And for that particular item, what's the score that you have assigned? And for that particular item, what is the level of the item on Bloom's taxonomy? Remember, when you attach me a copy of your test, you don't have the information of the level of the test. So this is the only section where you inform me the information with regard to the levels that your test items are addressing. Okay, so this particular table is very important. Okay, so that basically wraps up 3.0. So now we are moving on to 4.0. Okay, so 4.0 refers to task administration. Task administration is the process where you get people to respond to your test. So usually in a classroom setting, the students will come, sit down, the teachers will be reading out the instructions, and then hand out the test paper to the students for them to answer, invigilate while the task is ongoing, and blah, 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 blah. all right? But due to the current situation that we are in, I believe that your test will be administered online, and most of the time you guys will be using Google Form. Okay, so what you need to detail here under 4.0 is the procedure or whatever things that you have done to carry out your test administration. So just describe the process that you have undertaken under 4.0. For example, if you have carried out your test online via Google Form, but in addition to gathering test responses from social media, for example, you also get your family members to answer your test. So if that is the case, then please tell me that under 4.0. Okay, so you may say something like this: for test administration, our group has gathered responses via online means as well as physical means. For the physical test administration, we have gathered test responses from our family members and friends, where we print out test copies and produce the copy for our participants to answer. And these participants are basically our family, who consists of my mom, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And the participants were given 1 hour to answer all the questions. And after the 1 hour is up, they have to return back the answered test paper. For our online test administration, so you basically describe the process that you have gone through in getting people to respond to your test. Okay. I'm just interested with the manner that you have implemented this test administration process. Be truthful. For example, uh, with our online test takers, we have given them 5 days to answer. And at the end of the 5th day, we collect back the test responses and then we analyze the test item, for example. So just mention and describe the entire process that you have gone through in carrying out your test administration. Okay, so for 5.0 is item analysis. Now we will be learning item analysis next week. So this particular segment of traditional assessment, we do this after your test has been answered and you have marked your test paper. And after your test is graded, now we do have data as well as scores. Okay, so this is the kind of information that we will pull in and perform item analysis on. Okay, so at this point, this particular section may not make sense, but it will make more sense after we have covered the topic of item analysis. Okay, so this is just the manner in which you will be presenting your data set. And after you have scored and presented your data set, then you have to answer items related to measures of central tendency, item difficulty, item discriminations, as well as these questions, and finally these particular questions. Okay, now this can only be done after you have gotten your test scores and you have done your item analysis. All right, so for 6.0 is reflection. And for reflection, I'm interested to know the learning curve that you have experienced. What new learning have you gained from this from the course of doing this assignment? Whether have you learned anything interesting? Do you think you have learned aspects that is beneficial to you when you become teachers later, or you find the whole process hateful and annoying? So up to you, because this is your own reflection. Okay, the learning points, the things that you could have done better, the issues and challenges that you have experienced. I'm not subscribing or prescribing any particular information that you need to share here. I'm leaving this up to you. I'm interested to see particularly the issues and challenges that you have experienced, the learning and the things that you find most interesting about in the course of doing this assignment, and also the aspects that you feel that could have been done better. Okay, so for 7.0 is just one paragraph of conclusion. All right. And if you have included any references when you are detailing the above chapters, then you need to provide a list of references here. Okay. And this is the list of appendices that you have to attach at the end of the report. All right. Despite the fact that I have requested that you attach all the documents under 2.0 and 3.0, I'm also requesting that these documents be attached again under appendices, because there were times when students did not even bother to provide documents here. So, but they did provide documents at the end. Sometimes students don't provide documents in the end, they just include it in the beginning. So just to be on the safe side, and also the fact that I may not have enough time to call you if I find any of the documents missing. So having the documents attached at so many points in the report would help my marking process exponentially. Okay, so just do as what is stated here. And the submission of this particular assignment is via Google Classroom. Okay, so at this point, this assignment should be submitted on week 16th. However, after I have received information with regard to the marking period, the deadline of the academic calendar of this particular semester and whatnot, I will look back at the submission date and amend appropriately. But just to be on the safe side, as well as to give you directions, when do you need to submit? Currently, it is still on week 16. Okay, so I believe that this particular video has answered a lot of your questions and also has enlightened on the things that your group must do in the course of doing and completing this assignment 3. So thank you for your time. If you have any more questions, feel free to send me a WhatsApp message. And if you have the time, please look at and watch these videos. There are videos that I think will be helpful to you. For example, I do have step-by-step guide to fill up your TOS document if you are not sure whether your TOS is okay or not. On top of that, there's also a feedback video based on the previous semester's TOS, based on the submission of TOS by students of previous semesters. I have made a video on the provision of feedback. So this feedback was based on common mistakes that students do when they prepare their TOS. So you might do the same error. So this video is worth checking out. Okay. On top of that, we have stimuli in item constructions. I will be talking about this next week, but there's a video on this particular topic if you like to get to know about stimuli more, as well as the video on test assembly, test administration, and also how can you write high quality items. Okay, guys, so I guess that should be enough. I have talked for about half an hour. So all the best with your assignment 3. I'll see you when I see you. Take care because I care. Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. Bye guys.